What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We've got some more Monday Night NFL. We have the Buccaneers taking on the Lions in Detroit, and then we have the Texans taking on the Seahawks in Seattle. So two good competitive games, hopefully, tonight. Looking forward to these two games, and a couple of these games, or not a couple of these games, but one of these games looks like it could be a shootout, so maybe a really good game for props. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Before we do anything, I do have to pick a winner from yesterday's video to win a free month of our VIP. If this video gets 250 likes, I will pick a random comment down below to win a free month of VIP. So make sure you guys drop a comment, leave a like on the video. You have to be subscribed to win, so make sure you guys are hitting that sub button, and let's pick our winner from yesterday. Winner is going to be for James Warfield, who said, let's get this money. Well, James, I hope you had a good day yesterday, man. Hopefully you cashed out. Join, if you're not in our Discord already, join the Discord. Send me a message on Discord, and I will get you added for a free month of VIP, my man. Appreciate the love and support from every single one of you guys. Let's take a look at some of our wins from yesterday. So, 3 Prizepicks slip we posted. McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson, that one cashed. Bo Nix and Prescott, that one cashed. And then we had Drake May with Joey Sly, and that one cashed. We did cash the Patriots and the Bears 500 to win 492. Our ladder challenge missed yesterday, guys. Day 4, we had a 4-man or a 4-leg teaser, and it ended up missing. And the only thing we needed was the Dolphins to not get beat by more than 15.5 points. 15.5 for the Dolphins versus the Browns. I thought that one was going to be a free play. I thought that one was pretty much a lock. It wasn't. Don't ever assume anything's a lock. So we will restart the ladder challenge probably tonight. So make sure you guys are following on Instagram and TikTok if you're not already. We did have Travis Kelce and Bo Nix cash on chalkboard. And I have a confession to make, guys. And it's about these two slips right here. So obviously, I just showed you the Prescott and Bo Nix play. I played it on parlay play as well. 500 to win $1,585. These two plays. And this has never happened before anybody asks. I thought I posted them and didn't. So I went to go cash these last night. So if you're in the Discord, you know when we cash a slip, I'll go reply to that slip and be like, cash this one. And I'll post a screenshot of the cash slip. I went to go do that with these two plays and couldn't find them. And I realized that I did not post them. And it was a total mistake. It was an honest mistake. Hopefully you guys aren't too upset about it. That's why I didn't say anything in the chat last night about these two, because I didn't even post these in my wins because I knew somebody would be upset. So I wanted to kind of confess it on YouTube. It was a mistake, and I do apologize for that. It was totally I just forgot. So, or I thought I did actually, but I had Josh Taylor with Javonte Williams, the Cowboys game, 543. It was an even number. I had $543 left over, and I put that on one slip, and it won for $17.21. And then we had Taylor once again, fantasy points with a discounted play for Dobbins, and it was $250 for $637, which cashed. Then we had these two. I took the Eagles money line. I put $75 on it. Why it taxed me 34 cents or 33 cents, I don't know. But 75 to win 131, and then we had this 3-man on underdog as well. So yesterday actually ended up being a very good day. Hopefully, we can lead that into today. If you guys do want to get all of our plays, the link to our WAP is down in the description. You can get every single slip that I post. You can do this through the regular VIP access or the elite access. Just pick the one you want. It kind of explains what things are. This one's going to be more personalized experience. So if you guys want to get more mentorship, streams, things like that, it will be in the elite membership. And then all the picks are just going to be in either one of them. If you buy either of these, you will get every single pick that I post. I will not forget to post a slip ever again. I promise. That was a total mistake. But anyways, that is there. If you're not in the Discord already, join. It's free to join, and we'd love to have you guys in there. But that being said, let's go ahead and talk about these two games, guys. So the first one we're going to talk about is going to be the Buccaneers versus the Lions. You got Detroit minus 240 favorites at home, minus 5.5 on the spread, and the total is sitting at 52.5. Looking at the money on this, you got 53% of the money line on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at plus 242. So you got good value there at plus money, plus 242, decent odds for a team that really could win. You got to remember the Detroit Lions just got beat by the Chiefs, so they're probably going to be here ready to throw down today at home. Buccaneers have looked good this season. They are missing some key players, which we can talk about here in a minute. Looking at the spread on this one, you got 67% of the money on Detroit to cover the spread at minus 5.5. Pretty tough. It's a pretty tough number right there. And the total on this is 80% of the money on the over 52.5. So this game, shootout potential all over it when you see over a 50 in the NFL for a total. So definitely some chances here for this to be a high-scoring game, which makes it really good for player props. Looking at these two teams, we're going to talk about the Buccaneers first. Buccaneers are sitting 5-1 on the season. Their only loss was to the Eagles, 25-31. So tough L to the Eagles. They just beat the Niners, and then they beat Seattle the game before that. Had a close game versus Seattle, a close game versus the Jets, a 1-point game versus Houston, then a 3-point game versus Atlanta. Every single game they have won has been a very, very close field goal could change the outcome of this game. So you have to remember that. These are not dominant victories. This is another team, like I know said it in the Eagles yesterday, that this team is a couple of plays away from having a negative record, and Tampa Bay is just like that. Now, Baker Mayfield is clutch. A lot of these fourth quarter drives, he clutches it up and wins the game. So got to remember that about Baker Mayfield. Obviously a very good quarterback, and they have some talent there. If you look at the other side of things, the Detroit Lions are sitting 4-2 on the season, coming off a tough, brutal loss to Kansas City. The Chiefs dominated them at home, 30-17. Game before that, they dominated the Bengals. They beat Cleveland, they beat Baltimore, they beat Chicago in some pretty dominant fashions, and then they lost in Game 1 versus Green Bay in a game that was honestly very, very, very close, almost 2 picks that could have caused this game to go the other way. And yeah, so that being said, we got two teams, man, that are good, a good game in my opinion. Looking at the offensive and defensive stats of these two teams, so we're looking at Tampa Bay's offense to start with. Looking at Tampa Bay, they're getting 353.5 yards per game on offense, the 12th ranked offense in the league in terms of yards per game. They get 110 of those being rushing yards, and then 244 of those being passing yards, a top 10 passing offense in the league. They're going against the Detroit Lions, the top 10 defense, giving up only 308 yards per game, 95 of those being rushing yards, and then passing yards being 212. So they have kind of a middle of the pack rush and pass defense. Their rush defense is almost top 10, but they all have been giving up quite a few points. They just gave up 30 points to the Chiefs. And I could see that. I could honestly think the Tampa Bay offense is close to the Chiefs. Chiefs are fully healthy. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got two quarterbacks. Chiefs probably got some better receivers. Let's be honest. But I could see that. I could see Tampa Bay putting up some points. Now, looking at the other side of things, we got Detroit. 353.7 yards per game on offense, 11th ranked offense in the league, 129 of those being rushing yards, a top 10 rushing offense. And then they have the 14th ranked passing offense at 225 yards per game. Going to the other side of things, the defense for the Buccaneers, 320 yards per game on defense, 88 of those being rush yards, a top 5 rush defense right now, and then the 21st ranked pass defense giving up 231 yards per game. If we look at points per game allowed, Detroit's averaging 32 points per game, and the Buccaneers are giving up 25 points per game. The other side of things, Bucs are getting 27.5 points per game. Lions are giving up almost 24 points per game. So both teams giving up a lot of points, giving up a decent amount of offense. I will say Buccaneers' rush defense looks good on paper, but can it stop Gibbs? Probably not. That's the way I'm thinking about this. So I think this game could be good. If I had to pick one on this game, if I had to take a teaser or anything like that, I'd probably end up taking it's tough, man. I think Detroit wins. If I had to risk $100 on this play, I'd probably put it on Tampa Bay just because the plus money versus the juice minus 240. So, yeah, I think there's some good value there, and I think this game could potentially be a Tampa Bay win. But deep down, I think the Lions win, and on my pick'em league, I definitely am going to be taking Detroit to win this game. So, for our teaser, like I was talking about, it's hard to I'd probably run an 8-point, or I'd probably just buy it to a 9-point teaser, to be honest, and just take Detroit plus 3.5, and just they can lose by a field goal and it's still cash, because Tampa Bay hasn't won a game by more than a field goal except for one, and then this is a tough team. So that's probably what I'd end up doing. Maybe. I mean, you could take it at 2.5 if you want, but that extra point actually makes a huge difference for not pushing or losing your bet. That being said, let's take a look at the second game of the day. We have the Texans and the Seahawks. Right now, Seattle is sitting minus 165 favorites at home, minus 3.5 on the spread, and the total is sitting at 41.5. Public betting has 82% of the money on the Seahawks, which is a little bit crazy. You got 83% of the money on the Seahawks covering the spread, and then you got 63% of the money on the under 41.5 total. So this probably will be a pretty defensive game. Probably not going to be super high scoring. I will say the Texans have looked better the last 2 weeks. They just beat Baltimore, the Ravens. Yeah, I know. I get judged for the way I say Baltimore, so I'm not going to say. I'm going to say the Ravens once again. Ravens, they just beat the Ravens 44-10. That was a blowout. Now, obviously, Lamar wasn't playing, but they their offense actually looked electric their last game. The game before that, they beat the Titans 26-0. So they have actually looked a lot better on offense than they had to start this season. C.J. Stroud had not looked good in the first 3 games. They lost to the Jags, they lost to Tampa Bay 20-19, and they lost to the Rams 9-14. So they've struggled a little bit, and it's good to see a team that the last couple seasons I thought was going to be pretty good actually be able to perform a little bit. So we'll see how they do tonight versus Seattle. Seattle is 4-2 on the season right now. Their only losses are going to be to Tampa Bay by a field goal, and then they lost to San Francisco by 4. So 2 close wins. They are very close to being undefeated. They just beat the Jags 20-12. They beat Arizona 23-20. They dominated the Saints 44-13, and they beat the Steelers 31-17. So Seahawks have looked pretty good. Sam Darnold has looked good, man. I'm not even going to lie. Dude has one of the best QB ratings in the league right now. He has a very, very good pass game right now. Let's take a look at the offense for this Seahawks team, or we'll look at Houston first. But Houston, 314 yards per game on offense, 116 yards being rushing yards, and then 198 being passing yards. So their pass game has struggled a little bit, but like I said, the last couple of games, they've looked a lot better. If you look at the defense for the Seahawks, giving up 314 yards per game, almost a top 10 defense. Second best rushing defense in the league, giving up only 79 rushing yards per game. Then their passing yards, they have a weak pass defense, giving up 235 passing yards per game. Now, you also got to look at the teams they play too. How much do those teams run the ball? We'll talk about that here in a second. So looking at points per game on offense, Texans are averaging 21.6, and then on defense, the Seahawks are giving up 20. So it could potentially be a little bit more high scoring than that 40 total. We'll see. Looking at the Seahawks offense, getting 356 yards per game on offense, 104 being rushing yards, and then the pass yards 252. So top 5 passing offense in the league right now. Defensively, obviously, the Texans, one of the better defenses in the league, top 3, 266 yards per game on defense, and then 90 rushing yards with 175 passing yards. So they got top 10, 7th-ranked rush defense, and then 5th-ranked pass defense. Looking at points per game, Seahawks are getting 28 points per game. And then the Texans are the first-ranked team in the league, giving up more or less points than any other team, giving up only 12 points per game. So, all right, so if I had to pick a teaser for this play or for this game, outright win, that one's tough, man. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on this one yet for my pick 'em. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with Houston or Seattle. I kind of want to lean Houston because they've looked electric so far in the last couple of games. But then at the same time, Seattle's just looked good all season. So do I really want to trust the Texans to beat Seattle in Seattle? So we'll see. For this, I would probably take Houston plus 10.5 on my teaser. That's probably what I'm going to end up running. 10.5 point spread right there. If I end up buying it to 8 or 9, then you get 11.5. I don't think Houston gets dominated this game. I could see an argument if you wanted to take Seattle plus 3.5 or something like that as well. I think either of those are good plays, but I don't think this is going to be a dominant loss from Houston if they get beat. Total in this game over 34.5 is what I'd probably end up taking rather than the under 48.5, just because 34.5 is a very low total, and I think both these teams can get a couple field goals and a couple TDs. So I do think that could go that way. So let's go ahead and talk about some player props. We're going to lock in a couple slips live, and then hopefully we can cash out, guys. So let's talk about the pick number 1 that I had. It's going to be for our man Baker Mayfield. So this is a pick that I said I think is going to be good. The Lions have struggled to stop the pass game so far this season, and Baker Mayfield is one of those guys who is just clutch, man. So his pass yards sitting at 242.5 right now on Prizepicks. I think that's a good line. It's 7 lower than a lot of these other apps. If you take a look here, he's cashed just 3 of 6 games on the season. Now, if you look at his last 3 games, he's actually cashed this in 3 straight games. 289 pass yards, 379, then 256 versus San Francisco. And he's looked really electric, man. They passed the ball 56% of the time. Obviously, looking at targets, you got Egbuka, Mike Evans, Shepard, and then K-Dot is a tight end who gets quite a few targets. He has some running backs they like to target as well. Bucky Irving, Rashad White. Chris Godwin is out again for this game, so Godwin will not be in this game either. That's one of those key receivers I was talking about not being here, so we got to worry about that. And it does say it right here, questionable or out. Questionable is going to be Teddy Bridgewater, the backup quarterback. So I don't think Mayfield's gonna go out of this game. If he does, that would suck. But it would suck for the Buccaneers for sure. But anyways, I like Baker Mayfield to give us some pass yards. I like his fantasy score as well. I know a lot of people don't like playing fantasy, so you can fade it if you want. Fantasy score has been good to me the last few days, so I'm not gonna talk ish about it. But anyways, Baker Mayfield at 242.5 pass yards is a great play in my opinion. Let's check it out on Parlay Play. Code Fantasy Aces on Parlay Play will get you a free month of our VIP. And you guys can see that right now, $239.5 is the same payout as Prizepicks. So you're actually getting better value on parlay play right now to play Baker Mayfield there. So I'm going to lock this in here. Baker Mayfield at 1.77x to go over 239.5 pass yards. I like that play a lot, and that's what I'm going to be locking in as our first pick of the day. So who can we pair Baker Mayfield with? We got a couple options here. One of them I like is going to be for our man Jahmyr Gibbs. We're going to be taking Gibbs, the Detroit Lions running back, RB number 1. Obviously, he's going to be splitting some rush with Montgomery, but Gibbs is still the number 1. So let's pull up Gibbs right now. I like his rush yards. I honestly kind of like his rushing receiving yards, and you can buy this down quite a bit. He's cashed his original rush line so far, 4 of 6 games on the season. He's averaging 65 rushing yards per game. He is going against the number 5 ranked defense in the league in terms of rushing yards allowed. You go to running back, it's the 3rd ranked defense to running backs. They give up 65.3 rushing yards per game to the running back position. Looking at rush attempts for Gibbs, he's averaging 14.5 rush attempts. It's a decent amount of rush share right now for a team that I think's going to win the game, so Gibbs should not get if you think a team's going to lose, it's hard to take the running back because if they get down a couple touchdowns and it gets into the 3rd quarter or something, they're not going to run the ball very often. They're going to have to pass the ball to try to score unless they just have a terrible quarterback like the Browns. But anyways, obviously Judkins gets fed no matter what. But Jahmyr Gibbs is averaging 49.7% of the rush share, with Montgomery getting 37%. So you could argue either of the running backs. I don't think Montgomery's a bad pick, but Gibbs has been the one that's been feasting for me. He gets a lot of red zone targets and things like that, or red zone rush shares and things like that. So Gibbs is obviously going to be good for fantasy. Rushing receiving touchdowns probably going to be good for Gibbs as well. But I like his rushing yards as well. And you can come over here and you can get this line at 59.5. Or it's actually 61.5 right now. Or you can get it at 39.5, play this and get a double up. So it's up to you guys. At 49.5, it ends up being, what's the payout on that? A 2.25x. Is a 2.5x really worth an extra 10 yards? To me, it's not, but you guys can play around and really do whatever you want with Gibbs' rushing yards line. So I'm going to type in Gibbs right now. See what they have. At 39.5 on parlay play, you get a 2.1x. So this is better value all around on parlay play. I'm going to lock this in. I'm throwing $500 on it because I think this is a very good slip. 500 to win 1,000. We're locking it in. Things have been looking good on parlay play after yesterday. So I'm going to lock that in as our first slip of the day, and we'll talk about these here in a minute. And we'll kind of do a recap at the end of the video to lock in the other 2 slips as well. So looking at slip number 2. And some people are going to hate me for this because it is kind of a kicker slip, but I love this slip, man. This is slip. I was not going to put it in the video. I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, you know what? This can be a VIP slip. A lot of the YouTube guys don't like if I play a field goals made or a PAT or anything like that, but I like this slip. And I was like, you know what? I want to give them something I think is going to cash. And this is a slip that is one of my favorite slips on the slate for these 2 games. And I think it greens. Now, obviously, it could definitely miss, but I really like this slip. So let's talk about it. So the first one's going to be for our man McLaughlin. We're taking Chase McLaughlin, the Tampa Bay kicker, and I'm taking him for 1.5 extra points on Prizepicks. So we just needed them to score 2 touchdowns and kick the extra point. He's cashed it every game this season. He has looked electric. We're going against a team that gives up almost 3 touchdowns per game, 25th ranked team in terms of touchdowns allowed or extra points allowed per game. Obviously, Baker Mayfield's clutch. We've already talked about it. They should be firing on all cylinders, hopefully, in this game. Hopefully, they cash us out on this one. But 2 touchdowns is not very many, and they've had 3 in their last 2 games. That was versus Seattle and San Francisco, which is 2 defenses just as good as the Lions, in my opinion. That being said, head-to-head data last season, the 1 game he played, he had 2 extra points that game as well. So I like Chase McLaughlin in this one. Come over here to PAT made. McLaughlin's going to be 1.5. It's going to show a goblin. You can't get this on parlay play, I don't think. Don't think they're going to allow us to do PATs once again. Can't do it here, which is unlucky. So we're going to have to change McLaughlin for something else when we lock it in live. But you can get it on Prizepicks, and I will be playing this on either Prizepicks or Underdog 100%. I'll check the value to see which one's better. Who am I pairing with McLaughlin? This is going to be the other kicker prop I'm talking about. It's going to be for our man Fairburn. I'm taking Fairburn for the Houston kicker. I'm taking him over 1.5 field goals made. He has been a wagon, one of the best kickers in the league for this prop. He's cashed it 4 or 5 games on the season. Looking at Seattle, they give up 2 field goals per game on average. And so far, looking at longest made field goal for Fairburn, he's averaged 47.4 in his each game so far this season. He had 57, his longest versus the Ravens. I do think that he's going to be able to cash us out on this one. He's averaging 2.6 field goal attempts per game, and he's making 85% of those. So there was 1 game. These 2 games he kicked 3. He should have had 3 versus the Titans there. He missed 1. He did chalk us this Jags game. He kicked 2 field goals, just missed 1. Like, I remember that because he chalked our kicker slip. The kicker slip we had was a 4-leg kicker slip for like a 10x, and he was the only one to miss, and he hooked by 0.5 just because he missed a field goal. So Fairbairn's missed some. I'm not saying he's perfect. Seattle's defense has looked pretty decent, as well as the Houston offense. Houston offense has looked electric these last 2 games, but the games before that, they looked horrendous. So can they come out here against a good defense and be electric again? I don't know. I don't trust them enough to just say that they won't have to kick a couple field goals. So I'm willing to take a chance on Fairbairn at 1.5 field goals made. It is going to be a regular line on Prizepicks, and this will put you at a 2.25x if you decide to play it on here. So Fairbairn is a regular payout, and usually he's a goblin. So going to take some chances there. I think Jake Bates is another good play. I'd probably take him at 0.5 if I took it. If you throw that in here, it does give you a 2.6x. If you take him at 1.5, it gives you a 4x. So if you want to throw in like Jake Bates or something, I mean, totally up to you guys what you want to do. I like this slip a lot. I'm going to pull up Fairbairn right now on Parlay Play, and we will lock in a slip with Fairbairn for sure. We're going to look at their promos. So they have Laporta, and then they have Sam Darnold. So I'm going to take Sam Darnold. 200 pass yards. I was already eyeing this prop already on Parlay Play. So if you guys want to get this, just to give you a 2.5x, I'm going to throw 250. The max you can play on their boost is going to be $200. So you want entry up to 250. So I'm going to play this 250 to win 622, and I'm going to lock it in. So if I come to track picks, we got $750 versus to pay out $1667. We got $500 on Baker Mayfield and Jahmyr Gibbs. Got that locked in, better value than on Prizepicks. And then we got Sam Darnold and Fairbairn right here, 250 to win 622. I will be locking in this slip as well. So I'll have 2 slips with Fairbairn. It's going to be the only 2 slips I play with Fairbairn for sure. I'm not going to overexpose myself to the Fairbairn play, but I do like that slip a lot, guys. McLaughlin should give us 2 field goals made, or 2 PATs made. If you look at Jake Bates, he's 2.5. Honestly, that's probably not a bad play either, man. I think this Detroit offense is going to be electric tonight and probably scores 3 times. If you wanted to take that, that brings the payout up to a 3x. But if you don't want to risk it, I understand that. 3 PATs is quite a few. But that's what I got for this video, guys. Those are the slips I'm going to lock in. Like them. If you like them, lock them in. If you don't like them, fade any play you don't like, guys. Trust your gut. Hopefully we get us a sweep today. That would be awesome. If you want to join our Discord, make sure you're in there. We have NBA tomorrow. Tomorrow is NBA. I'm super excited. But hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.